أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه وولاه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد، إن شاء الله in our sisters mentorship program we are starting a new reading, a new book in our program. It's worth mentioning also, especially for the sisters who joining us this book. For this book or just recently joined us, it's worth to remind with the goal of this program. The goal of this program, as the name suggests, it's a sisters mentorship, and mentorship is different from coaching and is different from teaching. Teaching can be part of coaching and mentorship, but it is not coaching and mentorship. Coaching is to teach somebody a skill that they did not know, regardless if the coach is good at that skill or not. Again, you may coach somebody to do something. You're giving them the support, you give them the theoretical, the aspect, the process, procedure, everything, and help them to do it. Maybe you yourself, you're not the best in it. But mentorship is different. Mentorship is like teaching by example, and the mentor has to be skilled in what he's teaching to those whom he mentored. And it takes longer time, and you have to teach by example through the actions, and you have to guide them through as well. So mentorship is deeper, longer term, better quality, and you are learning from a role model or someone that who knows what they are teaching you. Practical example, a coach can be coaching somebody for writing. They know the ins and outs of writing. They're very good at grammar. Not necessarily they themselves can write a piece or a novel or a book or poetry, but they can criticize it. They have a taste for it. They can proofread it for you. They can tell you how to write, what are the etiquettes, what you need to do, how to start the body of the article or the essay or the novel that you're writing, and they can analyze it piece by piece for you. That's a coach. But a mentor is a writer, him or herself, and they share with you the depth of the experience, and they have their own taste, they have their own name, they have their own legacy, and they want to transfer that to you to have your own taste and your own legacy and your own input in it. So that's why we call it a sisters mentorship class. So I want to mentor you over a long period of time, and we select books from the different disciplines in our religion, mostly softening of the heart and empowering the soul and deepening our spiritual understanding and look at things while relating and reflecting on our lives and seeing what is the contemporary benefits that we get from these writings. Sometimes the writing are from the Quran, or it is from the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallam, or from an early work of scholars, or middle centuries, like 500, 600, 700, like we studied Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Rajab, Ibn al-Qayyim, Ibn al-Jawzi, or someone like we're studying now, contemporary. Shaykh Muhammad Said Ramadan Bhuti, he died a few years back when he was assassinated in the mosque in Damascus while he was giving a lecture. Explosion happened that cost him his life, rahimahullah ta'ala. One of the great imams and leaders, regardless of his alignment with the authority or the old regime or whatever it is, we evaluate him based on his discipline, based on his scholarship and impact on the Muslim Ummah, and he really cannot be ignored. So Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Ramadan al-Bouti, rahimahullah ta'ala. Whether we agree or disagree with certain things and his political affiliation or his, manhaj or some of his fiqhi fatwas, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, he's a scholar, one of the great scholars of the Ummah. He raised generations of people. He was a mentor. He was a Sufi scholar, a scholar of society, Muslim development, fiqh of Sirah. He had a book called Fiqh Sirah. And he have many other writings and books to respect the madhahib of fiqh. Softening the heart, deepening the spiritual aspect of Muslim personality. We're studying his book, which is called The Inner Sin, باطن الاثم, or the deeper aspect of sin. So الاثم has the inner aspect of sin, has external aspect and internal aspect. So we're not talking about the inner sin versus external sin. No, we are talking about a sin. The sin itself has an external aspect and an internal aspect. What is the difference? And somebody might ask. Sin is a sin. Adultery is a sin. Not lowering the gaze is a sin. Drinking is a sin. Backbiting is a sin. Okay? Those sins are external, all of them. Adultery, somebody is doing something physical. Backbiting is using the tongue. Lowering the gaze, not lowering the gaze, looking with the eyes. Okay? Lying is a sin, also using the tongue. Hating somebody is a sin. Transgressing somebody is a sin. And hating somebody with transgression is a sin. But showing off, shirk, hypocrisy, there are sins also, there are internal sins. That's not what we're talking about here in this book. So sometimes the translation will suggest that. No, we're talking about the sin of adultery. It has an inner and external and internal. The sin of lying has an external and internal. The sin of backbiting has an external and internal. I hope the difference is clear now. So when we say باطن الإثم, not الإثم الباطن. يعني الشرك الخفي, الشرك الجلي, الإثم الظاهر, الإثم الباطن. Okay? يعني there is an external sin people see, an internal sin that's in your heart. That's not what we're talking about here, dividing it in the category of sin. No, we're dividing the sin itself as it have an external aspect and an internal aspect. And the book is talking about the internal aspect of every sin, of the concept of sinning. Yeah. That this book here will be a little bit deeper than the way that we handle other books, because it's more philosophical here. So I want you to be paying your utmost attention in this book. This book, it's considered one of the most distinguished books of Dr. Saeed Ramadan al-Bouti. It is not the distinguished book. And he is discussing in this book the concept of sin from an Islamic perspective, a deep Islamic perspective. And he's going to show us the external and internal aspect of the sin itself as a disobedience of Allah Azza wa Jal, and how does that affect the life of a Muslim in the dunya and akhirah. Again, this is one of the most distinguished books of Imam al-Bouti, if not the most distinguished books of all his work. And he is discussing in it the concept of sin from a deep Islamic perspective, profound Islamic perspective, showing the difference between the external and internal aspect of sin, and how does those two aspects of sin affect the life of the Muslim individual in the dunya and akhirah. What are the main themes of this book, or the main aspects of this book, or the main topics of this book? Let's say, what are the main topics of this book? One, the definition of sin and its types. So he is going to differ or distinguish between the clear practical acts of sin, disobedience of Allah, crimes committed transgressing others, like stealing and adultery and killing. And the difference between that and the internal types of sin. Those are the different types, as we mentioned, like hypocrisy and showing off and arrogance, and envy, and attaching to the dunya. So he's also going to show us that those external types of sin now, those external types of sin that will have laws, Shari'i laws, and Sharia yani law for punishment and all that, and also by custom and tradition. But the inner sin, the inner aspect of sin and the inner types of sin, it would be worse because it goes into the human soul. Because you do not feel it easily. You do not feel it easily. That's one point, okay? Second point, Sheikh al-Imam al-Buti, he will warn in his book that the internal types of sin might be more dangerous than the external types, not aspect types of sin. Why? Because a person might not feel the necessity of repenting from it, but when somebody drinks or does something like that, they feel that they need to repent to Allah and all that. Then he will say also, will show us that one of the impact of this inner sin, that it will impact the society indirectly and makes it weak and make corruption spread and becomes commonplace, even if the people showing some religiosity. Then he shows that the relationship between the inner sin and showing off. Now he is talking about the aspect of sin, that it is inner, aspect of sin that it is outer. So you have some problem, a person have some disease in the heart that shows outside. And this is always will bring that kind of arrogance. Because he wants to please people, not to please Allah Azza wa Jal. So he is going to draw the analogy, not the analogy, draw the relationship between the shirk as inner aspect in the heart and riya, which is showing off as an external aspect of sin. So if you want to look at it as two different sins, one of them internal, one of them external. If you want to look at it as one sin, which is shirk, it manifests in riya. So it depends how you wanted to look at it. Now he will say how you fight this inner sin. He says مراقبة والمحاسبة. مراقبة means watchfulness over oneself. محاسبة means accounting one's own self. Two different things, by the way. مراقبة يعني I have a surveillance camera. المحاسبة means you're going to account what you saw in the surveillance camera. So I have a surveillance camera in my house. Somebody breached the house. Now I watched that. محاسبة, now I'm going to take some actions in this regard. So that's what it is. So you are making muraqabah means watching yourself. It's like, like I'm watching myself. I held my tongue the last minute before I speak. I was looking, then I moved my eyes. هذه muraqabah, you are watching yourself. Muhasabah, now you say why you did what you did. You shouldn't have done what you should have. You blame yourself and you do that. So that is one way to treat oneself from the inner sin. Okay. التوبة الصادقة يعني ده sincere repentance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So not only from the external aspect of sin or from external types of sin, but from internal aspect of it as well. So a person is committing a sin and he stopped it, but still in their heart, they desire it, they want it. No, you have to clean your heart from that too. Also, from the types of sin like showing off and arrogance and envy. You have to make tawbah of that. Third treatment is al-ilm wa tazkiyah, knowledge and purification of oneself. Knowledge is to seek more knowledge, like we're doing. You're getting more information, you're studying more books, memorizing more hadith, reading more Quran, attending more lectures, right? And then you have to practice that knowledge. Once you practice that knowledge, it purifies your soul. So that knowledge becomes integrated in your life through practice, and that will elevate oneself. The dhikr of Allah, you memorize the dhikr, you know the dhikr, you got the meaning of it, you implement it, you repeat it a lot until your heart starts feeling it, then it elevates your soul to another level. Then Sheikh al-Imam al-Buti, Dr. al-Buti rahimahullah, he will differ between the true religiosity and the fake one. And that actually, I'm going to spend some time on it. And you'll be surprised when you read it, you start actually accusing your own self. I went through this stage, so, and it's scary. Wallahi, my sister, it's so scary when you get to that level of evaluating yourself. Am I genuine or am I fake? Don't rush to the answer. Because if you rush to the answer of being genuine, that means you have a problem. If you also rush to the answer and accuse yourself that you're fake, you also have a problem. You cannot be insecure with Allah Azza wa Jalla. Yes, you are afraid. You should be afraid with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Should be scared, yes. But don't be insecure and say, I'm bad, I'm doomed. No, this is not the believer. So don't rush into accusing yourself that you are fake. And don't rush in giving yourself credit that you are genuine. Because, Shaitan said that I am better than Adam. So it needs some time to evaluate yourself, and it will take sometimes, don't be surprised, years, until you kind of really truly know who you are. Do you have this fake religiosity syndrome? Huh? FRS, fake religiosity syndrome. People pray, they dress properly, sisters with hijab, they quote Quran, huh? They pray, they memorize the whole Quran. They will take certificates and degrees وإجازات all of that. But still they have the fake religiosity. All of this fake religiosity, yes. It's not only me, by the way, saying it. Prophet himself said it. That the first person who's going to go to hellfire is a alim, knowledgeable person. He did not say that he was not knowledgeable. He said he is alim, mujahid, someone fighting the kuffar and died in the battlefield with the sword of the kafir, of a kafir, a Muslim, doing jihad, battling against the kuffar, very clear يعني. And then he got killed by the kuffar, we call him shaheed. وعالم, memorized the Quran, have the knowledge, teaching people. Lots of people accepted Islam because of him. He's like that. And a person who spends lots of money in the path of Allah, and all those three will be the first ones to go to hellfire. You see the danger here? And the key aspect is one only, for the sake of Allah or not. You can say whatever you like. Nobody will know what is inside here except Allah. And it's going to happen Yawm al-Qiyamah. That's why he said, what did you do with the knowledge I gave you? Ya Allah, I led people in Salah, I did this, I did this, I did this. Okay. For your sake, he said, oh, you lied. That is the lying part. That is the difference between the genuine religiosity and the fake one. That question that nobody would know except Allah, then you and me. You do not have access to me. I don't have access to you. I can tell you whatever you want. You can testify for Sheikh Mamdouh, whatever you like. But only Rabb al-Alameen. And then me know exactly who am I inside. And why what I'm doing in general. Why I'm doing what I'm doing in general. And why I'm doing what I'm doing every act specifically. Now you know what's scary? It is very scary. Because in general you can be defined, yes. But in particular, then we have a problem. Why you are studying this book now? Why you pray the Fajr now? Why you pray the Zuhr today? Why pray the Fajr tomorrow and the Zuhr tomorrow? Different. Why you are doing what you're doing with your husband? Why you are doing what you're doing with your wife? Why you are doing what you're doing with your children? Why you are doing every single aspect of your life? Are you a genuinely religious person? تدين? يعني you following this deen really genuinely to please Allah Azza wa Jal, or it is just for another reason? That is where we're going to spend some time. The difference between الدين الحقيقي القائم على الإخلاص لله والتواضع له والخشوع لله عز وجل. So the true genuine religion is based on sincerity to Allah, humbleness to Allah and to the people, and khushu' to Allah Azza wa Jal, submission, complete submission to Allah Azza wa Jal. The fake religiosity, it is exerting effort to show piety. To show. Piety is not to be shown. Piety is inside and it manifests. But to show piety while there is no root for it inside, that will become social hypocrisy. And again, how would you know? Through tests and trials. At the time of hardship, people can pray and can be good and can read Quran and smile and be nice when everything is nice, cool, good. When they're tested through money, لتبلون في أموالكم وأنفسكم. You will be tested in your money and your souls and your family. You have a spouse who's giving you a hard time. You have parents who are giving you a hard time. You have children who are giving you a hard time. You have an employer who is giving you a hard time, an employee who is giving you a hard time. You are rich and poor people giving you a hard time, or you are poor and rich people giving you a hard time. You are tested through something that you like taken away from your hand, or something that you do not like came upon you. You will see. حسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Allah Azza wa Jalla said Surah Al-Ankabut after Alif Lam Mim. Do people think that because they state that they believe that Allah will leave them without testing? No, we'll test them and we will know who is genuine and who's lying. لَعَمَنَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا, the truthful and genuine, وَعَمَنَ الْكَاذِبِينَ, those who lie. So at the end, Imam al-Buti say that the hidden sin is the most dangerous, the threat to the true faith, true Iman. And treating it will be with training the heart, monitoring the heart, striving against the bad self, because Allah is looking at the heart, not only to the external or overt actions. this book gives this deep things. I might be wrong in the beginning when I said that it is talking about the external aspect and the internal aspect, while it's actually talking about external sin as a type. Yani. I mixed it up with another book, not for Sheikh al-Buti. There is the same topic by someone else. I think Sheikh Muhammad Hussein Yaqub or someone like that. I don't remember, yani. But there is other books written in that topic. So I think I referred to that in the beginning. But Sheikh al-Buti is talking about the types of sin, the external type of sin like adultery or stealing or backbiting and all that, and the internal one like hypocrisy and hasad and jealousy and envy and all of that. And he's focusing on the second type. So that's generally what the book is about. So inshallah, in the summary, I'm going to fix that aspect, that you listen to. The summary, I'm going to try to eliminate that part. The difference between the external and internal aspects of the sin and the external manifestations of an external type versus internal type of sin. After praising Allah Azza wa Jal, after praising Allah Azza wa Jal, sending salah and salam upon Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Sahaba and everybody following him, he starts very powerful statement. He said, truth is bitter in taste, not better, better than. No, it's bitter in taste. Like cactus. Bitter. It's not sweet. The opposite is sweet, by the way. Lying is sweeter than the truth. Truth is not easy. Always good things are hard. Bad things are easy. Going to the masjid and praying and reading Quran, all that is harder than going to a party and dancing and doing all of these things. Nafs is easier for it. That's why I tell people like all the time, a good practice is in Ramadan. You stand in Taraweeh, it is tough, but you can stand 10 times more in the parking lot talking with your friends and laughing and joking and enjoying it, and you want it to become even longer. But you cannot stand 1/10 of that time. Okay? So it is not sweet in taste. Why? Sheikh al-Buti asking. Why? What are the reasons that makes it taste like that? The truth, huh? Truth is why it doesn't taste sweet. He said because of the impact. Whenever you tell the people the truth, it is not what they like. It's not what they expect. It is criticism. And it exposes them. It shows them the part that they don't want to see or they don't want others to see. And he said, don't expect this bitter taste will become sweet. He said, no. He said, it will make it lesser impact, but you have to taste it. You have to taste that kind of non-sweet taste of truth. But what would make it tolerable, what would make you be able to cope with it, is your eagerness to become better. Your eagerness to improve yourself, your eagerness to please Allah, your eagerness for sincerity, complete sincerity, and being unbiased to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That will make this bad tasting truth easy to cope with and easy to deal with. So if you hold to that path and look for the truth, even though you know it is better, you know you are going to get hurt, you know that you're going to be criticized, then you did your duty. Then you did your duty in front of Allah and in front of people. You'll find out that it is very hard to change people. It is very hard to change others. And it's also very challenging to change yourself. And you cannot change, as Sheikh al-Bouti said, you cannot change the bitterness of the bitterness of taste of the medicine to become sweet. Medicine is still medicine, even when they put the sweet things in it. So, and he said, even though truth is hard, it is heavy, it is bitter in taste, but the impact of it is very beneficial and sweet in fruit later. But it is long term. It is something non-tangible. That's why sometimes you suffer for other people to enjoy. You fight for the truth. Maybe you do not taste it yourself. Lots of people died for the truth and for the freedom of their countries and their people and their nations. And people enjoyed freedom later for centuries after that, because someone did not even see the fruit of what they're fighting for. They sacrificed themselves in it. So they taste the bitterness for the society to taste the sweetness. And that is the true thing. Inshallah, we'll stop here today and we continue, because I have other commitment to do. So I have short lecture today. And inshallah, the lecture for tafsir will be always online every Wednesday as well. So I have 2 classes on Wednesday, one for the brothers and sisters at night, which is tafsir. And inshallah, after we finish tafsir Surah An-Nur, I'm going to put another survey to see what we are going to study. So I have Wednesday for the mentorship. And I freed myself from other jobs and everything to be on Wednesday, other than school, but Wednesday afternoon, this 3 to 4 for the sisters only. And at night, inshallah, from like 8 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for the brothers and sisters. And we're also going to have another set of material. So there is no conflict or repetition. So we're going to focus more on tafsir aspects and Quran-based mentorship. And this sisters class will be more book-based mentorship. But after that, we will study also other books as well in the night time. But it is more relating to Quran and the tafsir. And we take from the Quran what benefits us as a society, as individuals and as a society. But in the sisters mentorship class, we'll take titles and topics. So may Allah make this program successful. And I'm with you as long as you don't give up. I'm with you, inshallah. We'll keep with you. We'll keep supporting. As well as you, please, please, please. Even if one aspect only of what we say, you practice in your life once a month. And take one aspect every month and try to change your life with it. And try to change the lives of the people around you. You will not be able to have an impact on the people around you unless you have an impact on yourself first. So the knowledge, understanding of knowledge, access to knowledge, understanding the knowledge, implementing the knowledge, teaching the knowledge, and impacting others with that knowledge. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاكم الله خير.
وجزاكم الله.